Hi and welcome back to our Saturday Sofa Share. A very wet, exceptionally wet Saturday today, isn't it?
Filthy, horrible.
Absolutely awful. I've got to pop out there again in a minute. Ugh. It really is feeling like autumn. It's kind of nearly winter really. I mean the temperature's dropped with 12-13 degrees today and we're up in the 20s earlier in the week. It's just bonkers, isn't it? But that's England. So, not here to talk about the weather today. First thing first, good bit of news, or I say just a bit of news really, quite an important piece of news. Stamp duty, Andrew, what happened this week?
Yeah, so at the end of September, 30th of September, just 2 days ago, the last saving on the stamp duty has now finished. So if anyone was able to complete their purchase by the 30th, then well done, you've managed to save a maximum of £2,500 on your new purchase. But as of the 1st of October, moving forward, it all reverts back to the normal rate. There's no increase, it's just back to where it was before the Chancellor announced the stamp duty holiday ages ago now.
It was, yeah, it was donkeys, it was last year, wasn't it? I mean, it's a great boost for the market. We've done well on the back of it, all estate agents have, and we hope you, if you were selling or buying, I hope it worked both well for you. Certainly fueled the market, didn't it, without a doubt. So, but we're not here to talk about stamp duty either, so we're not talking about the weather, we're not talking about stamp duty. What happened to you this week, Andrew, when you went out and saw a client who'd, I suppose, realised very quickly they'd made the wrong decision? Talk us through that.
So I had a conversation with a lady yesterday who has signed a sole agency agreement with one of our competitors. She's been on the market now for approaching 4 weeks, and is disappointed with the service she's received, which is frustrating for the client, disappointing for the agent. It hasn't got off to a good start, and she wanted to come on to the market with us. So I asked her what sort of contract she had with her current agent, and she sadly announced that she signed in for 26 weeks on a sole agency contract with a 4 weeks notice period. So
bonkers. So effectively 30 weeks, isn't it? Really?
Over half a year.
Wow. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? I mean, we've both been in an agency where you do sign a certain, I suppose, exclusivity period. I think particularly when an agent is spending money doing the marketing for you. I mean, for us, that would be the 3D tours, using Roger from Fly High doing the cinematic videos and the drones, all the presentation, all the money we spend on social media. We don't want to do that and then a week later you go, I'm going to give it to someone else. We need a little bit of, I suppose. So we have a 28-day notice, that's it. Nice and simple. Okay, we're not going to lock you in, we're not going to tie you down. As long as you're agreeing with our terms, which obviously if you don't sign, it's that simple. As long as you agree to our terms and conditions, that's what you'll get. So Andrew, the client, I shouldn't say she, sorry, the client's tied in for 26 weeks, 4 weeks notice. What would happen if we went, that's fine, we'll put you on the market and we'll sell it anyway? What potentially can happen?
Well, one, we wouldn't, because the main reason would be is that if we put it on the market and introduced our lovely marketing and sold it, then there would be a dual fee liability. There's no way around that.
And I think you just hit the nail on the head. We wouldn't do it to you. It's that simple. It's unethical, it's unprofessional. It's just not right to go and put you in a position where you're going to pay 2 fees. What other agency agreements are out there?
Okay, so there's quite a few different agency agreements, but there are 4 main categories. You've got sole agency,
which is what we're talking about, which is, just give a quick summary on that.
So sole agency, you would appoint one agent exclusively to sell your property. You would sign in for a minimum period, as Roy says, for 8, 10, 12, even 16 weeks. And that agent would have that period of time to sell it.
And not 26 weeks.
Yeah, not 26
Sorry.
Weeks. Yeah. So you're giving one agent, your appointed first agent, exclusivity to sell the property. That's a sole agency agreement. The next one is sole selling rights, which again you're employing one agent to sell your property. Just be careful with this type of agreement, because even if you found your own buyer, private buyer, or sold it to a family member, or indeed any other introduction other than those introduced by the agent, then you are still liable to pay their fee. So just be careful of that one. It's similar to sole agency, but it's sole selling rights.
Yeah, so even if you sold it to your friend, you've still got to pay the agent. I mean, most of the time I'm seeing that, not necessarily on the agency side of the business, but more on auctions.
Yep.
So if an agent's talking to you about modern method of auction, like these online auctions, be careful. Be really super careful. Okay, so that's 2.
Joint sole, where you appoint 2 agents to share the marketing, basically. Those agents would normally agree a fee split, so you might pay more to have 2 agents. The advantage of that one would be is if you've got, I don't know, a big country home and you want an agent who's got national coverage, and there's quite a few out there, or a London or international marketing, you might think, yeah, they're ideal, but I also want local specialised expert advice from a local
Smaller
agent.
independent or
Yeah,
something.
so you're getting
got
the best of both worlds, really. And the two agents would agree that, yes, we're happy to work together, but if we sell it, then we want the lion's share, perhaps a 60-40, 70-30 split.
I've heard different figures.
Yeah, you might do a 50-50, but the chances then
You've got no motivation to sell it because you're going to get half the fee, aren't you?
You haven't, but equally from the client's point of view, if both agents are sat there getting the fee, whether they sell it or not, then they could arguably both sit on their backsides waiting for the other one to sell it.
You need some motivation in there. You need some kind of, you want to work harder to get the money.
Could.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the last most common of the four that we're talking about today is multi-agency agreement, where you'd employ two or more, could be 10, 20, not advisable, but two or more agents. You definitely would pay a higher fee. The reason for that is us as agents, as Roy mentioned earlier, we're spending money on marketing time and effort to sell your property. And if we know we're up against 3 or 4 other agents, then if we're the ones who sell it, then quite likely we would deserve a higher
fee. I mean, Andrew's just mentioned there the most common. Sorry, it's the most common of those last two. So the most common is sole agency. I would then say it's multiple agency. You would then have probably a joint agency, and then a sole selling right, probably in that order, isn't it? So, if you have any questions on these, we're always here to advise, help. Even if we've been out to value your property and you're thinking, I want to go with that other agent because they can just do something different, or you're feeling more comfortable. The most common thing is you found a property through them. Before you sign that contract, just talk to us. I mean, 34 years, 24 years of experience. We like to think we know what we're looking at. We know sort of what the pitfalls are depending on which contract you're going to be signing. But 26 weeks, oh my goodness, plus 4, 30 weeks. That's outrageous. Should actually be made, in my opinion, illegal. I'm sorry.
I think it's bordering on an unfair contract.
I think it's, I mean, we won't debate that one today. So that's it with agency contracts.
Property of the week.
Property of the week.
Now, we're still selling at a fast rate of knots. The end of the stamp duty hasn't affected anything at all.
People are still buying, hand over fist.
We've still got a huge imbalance of buyers and stock, which is keeping the prices high.
Difficult to control it, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we've got some great ways. We'll talk about that perhaps another time.
Yeah, we'll talk about we'll do that next week. So next Saturday, watch out how we can put you in front of the other buyers before the property sort of, I suppose really before it even comes to the market. So we'll talk about that next week, so keep an eye on that.
So the property of the week, Roy has had the
I'm going to steal the limelight on this one, what a surprise.
Going over to Singleton, and over to you, Roy.
So I took this property on the market on Thursday, Dealey Way. I'd seen them earlier in the week, and not knocking the other agent, they'd sold it through another agent, had a few issues with it, and we've taken it on the market at £265,000. Now I think this is cracking.
It is fantastic.
Very, very similar to the one you sold in Bluefields probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago now. Similar pricing, coming on at, as I say, at 265. So you've got 2 double bedrooms upstairs. Main bedroom's got a big sort of big wardrobe in it. You've got modern bathroom with shower and screen over. Separate lounge, which is quite nice, quite cosy, particularly with the weather we got today. But again, the most sociable space being the kitchen diner across the whole part of the back of the house there. Space for your white goods.
Downstairs as well.
Yeah, downstairs cloakroom off the hallway. Space to put your coats, shoes, because a little bit of space under the stairs, and they're going to leave the coat hooks in the hallway. So yeah, I think it's a cracking house. But the real thing for me on this, zero maintenance back garden pretty much, which is fantastic.
Nice purple slate as well.
Yeah, so you've got purple slate there as well, so it keeps the weeds right down. You've then got pathway access to your own garage. Big plus, that's got power and light in it, bit of loft storage space as well, so putting up the old Christmas decks, get them all up and out of the way, but easy accessible. Parking space in front of that as well. But it's chain free.
Yeah, vacant.
Wow.
We've got keys.
So first time buyer, investor, I've got keys, we need to get this property sold as quickly as possible. So that's 2 beds, Dealey Way, so if you know Dealey Way at all, it's not one of the main drag-throughs, it's quite an unusual setup there, it's kind of like a nice little quiet sort of through road. Generally it's only people that live there that would use that as well.
Yeah, they would.
So yeah, absolutely cracking house, showing the details above. If you have any questions on this one and any of the things we've discussed today, which is the weather, actually we're no good at weather, probably better than most of the BBC weathermen most of the time. However, But if you want to talk about stamp duty, particularly for first-time buyers, don't forget that is zero in our area up to £300,000. So that's still really important. So that's still a massive saving for first-time buyers. Again, we can guide you through that. But if you want to have a look at DUA chain-free, we've got keys. Just give us a call today on 01233 501 601. I don't think there's anything else I'm going to add today.
There's not. Enjoy the weekend. It looks like it's still going to be pretty awful weather-wise. Hope you guys aren't having to queue for fuel. Another talking point. It's been horrible for a lot of people and spending hours in queues. Any signs of getting better in Ashford?
I don't know. Do you know what? And yesterday I had to fill my car up. I've run it for just over a week and I got it right down. I was getting a little bit okay. I have to get my bike out on this one, but really impressed with the service down at BP, which is just on the end of BP Lane, so down by the Curious Brewery in the train station. But a limit of £35, which I think is fantastic. It gets me around. I mean, that'll last me all week quite comfortably. But just as importantly, this morning Ollie nipped out in our Bertie the van, not been filled up for some time now, getting a little bit low, getting a little bit worried because we still need to sort of do appointments with it, help people move into properties and so forth. So it's not just for our benefit, it's for our customers' benefit, and moving house is exceptionally important. But he went to, I think they call it the Applegate services. I always known it as the old Shell garage on the Ring Road. And again, got a limit of 30 quid. Fantastic. I think that's the way to do it. Let's just manage this. Let's be sensible with it. Let's not do unnecessary journeys as well. That's it from me. Have a great weekend. Anything else from you?
That's it.
That's it.
Have a super day.
Take care now.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.